Let me paint a scenario for you. You have this lens, which you rarely use, and it's probably been sitting in storage for years with just the right amount of moisture. So the next time you pull it out, you notice there's mold growing through it. Now, if you're anything like me, who's a teensy bit of a tight ass and lives too far away from any camera repair shop, you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell am I going to do? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to disassemble and clean mold from a camera lens all by yourself and for free. Hey guys, it's Liz and welcome back to my channel where I show you everything I know and love about photography. Okay, so I've got this Nikon 55 to 300mm lens, which is off a D5100, which was purchased back in, I think, 2010. I'm not too sure, but either way, it was a long time ago. It used to be my mum's before she gave it to me because she upgraded to the D5600. Not long after having it, I noticed there was mold growing in the end of the lens, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'll get that cleaned one day. And here we are probably 3 years later, and I still haven't gotten it done. This is pretty much the only reason why I'm going to try and clean the lens myself, because one, it's a very old lens, and two, it didn't cost me anything. So if I break it or stuff it up, I don't really have anything to lose. If you do decide to do this to your own lens at home, I'd recommend only doing this as a last resort and be very careful when you're disassembling and cleaning it. So obviously the first thing that you want to do is take off the lens cap, and if you have any filters on the front, take those off too. Now we're at the core of it. So my mold is actually just on the back of this piece of glass here. Before doing this myself, I tried to cheat a little to see if I could find any videos on YouTube on how to do it. But because this is such an old lens, any videos that I did find, they just weren't applicable because everything is so different. Plus my main issue was in the videos, a lot of people were trying to disassemble it from this side, which makes sense because that's where all the screws are located. But I didn't want to disassemble the entire lens to get to the bottom of it just to get to the last piece of glass. To me, that just seems silly, and any videos that I did find where the disassembling from the lens started from this end, unfortunately, again, didn't work for my camera because there were either newer lenses where they had just a little sticker on the inside, and once you lifted the sticker, there was little holes where you could put this special tool in to kind of unscrew it. And mine doesn't have a sticker, it's just a ring. Again, it didn't work. So unfortunately, I was left to my own devices, and it was a lot of guesswork, a lot of trial and error, and trying my best to not destroy the lens. So I'll go through with you the tools and methods that I use to try and get the ends of this lens off before finally realizing the simple and easy way of getting it off, which doesn't require any tools, and I feel quite silly for not trying it in the first place. So here we go. So at first I tried with my fingers to see if I could get a grip on the outer ring to try and unscrew it to get the glass out. That wasn't successful because the ring is just so small. My fingers were so big they couldn't get in the edge of it to kind of pop it off. So then I tried like a rubber band. I know it sounds silly, but even if you just fold a rubber band like that, and then you just like run it in the edge, I was kind of hoping that that would grip it enough to kind of pop it so then I can try and unscrew it the rest of the way. So essentially the method to my madness was trying to unscrew a tight lid. I also tried, please don't cringe at this, but I also tried a pin just in case it did pop off and then the glass screwed out somehow. Again, I've never disassembled one of these before, so I was trying anything. So I was trying to get the pin in the edge of it, or trying to get it in between the thread and the ring to try and pop it off, but I was so afraid that it was going to damage it. Any attempt that I made, I stopped myself because I was just so worried about destroying it. And then I tried the end of a pencil, like the rubber, to see, again, try and like get enough grip to try and spin the ring off. And I also even tried a compass, because the tools that you see here, which are actually used for proper disassembly of a lens, they actually look quite similar to this. So what I did was I put the rubber band across it, again, to protect the lens, and then I kind of just like popped it on the edge there, and then I tried to spin it. Again, it didn't even budge. And then I was trying a suction cup, because I've seen people do this as well, where they put the suction cup on. Obviously, I knew I couldn't just lift it off, but I was trying to twist it to see if that worked. Unfortunately, it didn't even budge again. And after that, I was pretty much all out of ideas. I've been trying at this for probably the past 3 days now with no luck. And then this afternoon I was looking at it and I thought, oh, maybe I could just give it one more shot with my fingers, and boom. It was just as simple as that. Literally no effort required, no force. It was just a simple twist. And I felt so silly. So basically the glass also screws up the thread, and that therefore pushes the ring off. So I'll show you pretty much how it works. As it starts to get a bit loose, I'd recommend kind of tipping upside down, because at one point it will pretty much just fall straight into your hand. Also be careful when you do this, because obviously you don't want it falling on the table and damaging the glass even more. Okay, so there you have it. So that's the inside of the lens there. So I'll just pop that down over here. Now, you got to be really careful, because I don't know if your lens will come with it, but mine has these really like foil thin rings. So I'm just going to pop them down there. Oh, so worried I'm going to bend them. And then there's your ring that I was trying to get off. Yes, that little bugger. Now you can see the fungus a little bit better on the lens. I guess now it's time to clean it. Actually, just something that I forgot to mention before doing anything with a lens, make sure you wash your hands just to get any oil off or any dirt off as well. And there's also some gloves here, but unfortunately my gloves have got powder on the inside of them. I wasn't too keen on using them just in case the powder somehow got into the thing. So I've just washed my hands really well. Make sure you do the same if you try this at home. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just pop him down there. I got this lens cleaner, which came part of a kit that I got from Harvey Norman. It's just an El Cheapo kit. It comes with all this other contents as well. I keep it in a sandwich bag inside my camera bag. So now what we're going to do is just going to add a few drops to the cloth, just like that, not too much. And then you just want to gently clean it. And hopefully that should get it off. I think there's still a little bit on there. I'm not going to lie, I'm not too sure how well this is going to work, because when I wipe over it, it's almost like you can still see the resin of the fungus on there. So I'm just going to stick to the lens cleaner for now, but if I see the fungus starting to come back, I might actually try this method again, but maybe try methylated spirits or some form of alcohol. Just something that's a bit stronger that's going to get rid of that fungus residue. Because, yeah, I can still see it. I'm giving it like a really good rub. I don't want to scratch the lens, obviously. But, yeah, I can still see it a little bit. But you know what? We'll leave it at that and we'll see how we go. So now I'm just going to pop that down there. So while I was at it, I also decided to just clean the edge of it, because like I said before, when I was using the rubber, a little bit of rubber fibers just got around the edge of it. So I just want to clean that. But it's also good practice, because it's inevitable that dust eventually gets inside your lens anyway. So while you've got it open, just give it a bit of a clean, get all the dust off of it. Sit him down there. Just make sure the inside of this is also clean, that there's no dust fibers. Give it a bit of a blow. All right, so this next part, you kind of don't want to leave things hanging in the air for too long. So you pretty much want to put this straight back in as soon as you can. Once you've given the inside and all the proper components a good clean, it's time to put it all back together. So there's a bit of a trick to putting this back in. Because there's so much weight to it, if you pop it in from the top and you don't put it in evenly, it actually gets jammed and it's hard to screw it back in. So first you want to put these rings back in, just make sure they are clean. So you kind of just let them fall in. I find you just gently drop them in like that, and you just give it a shake and it wiggles itself back into place. I'll just give this one last wipe down just to make sure there is nothing on it. Okay, that looks good. So like I said, you don't want to drop it in from the top. You actually want to feed it in from the side just like this. So let me just get a better grip. So filming the last part of this video is actually proven to be really difficult, because just a couple of takes ago, I actually got the lens jammed and it took me forever to try and get it out. And just then my battery went flat. So let's see if I can get it third time lucky. To get it in nice and evenly, I found it's best to kind of just tip it on its side and just gently guiding it back in. Okay, just even pressure. And then, there, it's in. So now you just kind of gently screw that in, and then don't forget your ring, so you pop that on top. Again, make sure it's nice and level before you start screwing it. And essentially you can kind of just screw them both in together. So just with 3 fingers on the top, just screw it back down. And you want to keep going until you essentially can't do it no more. I noticed that with the last little bit, you just feel like a little bit of grip, and then it releases and then grips again. And that's pretty much tight. That's good to go. So now let's just double check, make sure there's no dirt inside it. No, pretty much good. I'm happy with that. I think it's safe to say that cleaning this lens today was actually a bit of a success. It saved me a couple $100 and a very long trip to a camera repair shop. So all in all, a very good outcome. So let's just pop the filter back on and the lens cap. And now it can go back in storage for years on end. Ha, joking. I would like to try and use it a bit more. So like I said, guys, if I put this back in storage and I notice that there's mold starting to grow back on it, because I was worried that the residue might still be there, a good idea is to maybe try it again with maybe an alcohol. So I might try with methylated spirits if it happens again. But I'm pretty confident that because we use a proper lens cleaner to clean the lens, and I dried it really well before putting it back in, so there was no moisture, I'm pretty confident that the mold won't come back. So a little tip I've learned to actually prevent the mold from getting into your lens in the first place is to keep those little silica gel packets inside your camera bag. For me, again, being a teensy bit of a tight ass, what I did was, obviously whenever you get like a new tripod or a new camera, even if you still have the original box that you got your camera in, you'll find that there'll be those silica gel packets in there. So if you've still got them, just chuck a couple of them in your camera bag and you're all good to go. I'm actually not too sure where you could buy them from, so I can't even recommend any to you. I literally just went scavenging around my house, looked in old boxes because I like to keep boxes because I'm a fuddy-duddy like that. So I looked in all the old boxes that I used to have all my camera gear, lenses, tripods, anything, scooped up all the silica gel packets that I had and just put them all throughout my camera bag. So there's no chance of mold ever getting inside them. I've actually heard a lot of photographers keep their lenses and camera gear out on shelves, so there's a lot of free-flowing air around it where no mold or moisture can get trapped inside. So I hope this video was able to give you some really cool tips and tricks on how to clean the mold from a really old lens. If not, then I hope you enjoyed the entertainment. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Until then, guys, I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye! And now it's stuck. Great. Try to show you guys an example of how not to get it stuck. That's exactly what I've done. Did I even put it in the right way? That's probably why it's stuck. Oh, it's stuck good. Oh.